vast oceans lives a creature that stands as the greatest genetic mystery of all invertebrates. When scientists sequenced the octopus genome for the first time, they found something no one expected. This animal's body contains over 33,000 active genes, more than in humans. But it's not just the number, it's the way those genes work. Unlike humans and most animals, the octopus can rewrite its own RNA on the fly. That means, right when genetic instructions are about to be delivered to a cell, it can say, "No, this info won't help right now. Let me send a different version instead." This is a body that doesn't just follow commands, it creates them. Scientists have found this same ability in its brain and neurons, right where its most complex decisions happen. In mammals, this kind of editing is extremely rare, but in the octopus, it's as if nature is running an experiment, a completely different evolutionary path. And that's why some researchers now say, if we ever claim that a creature came from another world, the octopus might be a serious candidate. Welcome to Secrets of the Unseen World, a place to uncover the mysteries that have always been right in front of us, just hidden in plain sight. In this episode, we return to the remarkable world of the octopus. This is part 2 of the octopus mind. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, you'll find the link in the description or pinned comment. There, we explored its multiple brains, strange behaviors, and daring escapes. But today, we're diving into something even stranger than the brain itself. For years, scientists believed that complex minds only existed in animals with highly developed brains, like primates, dolphins, or crows. But after decades of research, the octopus changed everything. At first, it was the brain, more than 500 million neurons, almost as many as a dog. But here's the twist. Over half of those neurons aren't in the brain, they're in the arms. Each arm can sense, decide, and react on its own. No need to check with a central brain. It's called distributed intelligence. Not a single commander, but a team of independent minds. The octopus doesn't just have a brain. It is a brain. Spread across 8 thinking arms. And what's inside the brain is even stranger. In the vertical lobe, a part of the brain linked to memory. Scientists saw patterns like those in the human mind. Octopuses can remember faces, solve puzzles, navigate mazes, match shapes, even trick their way through challenges. They don't just react, they learn. They adapt. They remember. And then, it gets weird. In one experiment, researchers gave octopuses MDMA, a drug that increases empathy in humans. The result? These usually solitary creatures became social. They approached others. They played. They made contact, like they wanted to connect. And that's not just behavior. That's feeling. A mind unlike ours, yet somehow not so different. So here's the question. If the brain is alien, why does the mind feel so familiar? Take a look at its eyes, a horizontal pupil, excellent depth perception, and stunning clarity. Oddly enough, the eye of an octopus is strikingly similar to the human eye, despite coming from an entirely separate evolutionary path. This is called convergent evolution, when nature finds the same solution through different routes. But stranger still is the skin. Yes, its skin can see. Inside its skin are light-sensitive cells that respond even without signals from the brain. It's as if the arms can see the world directly and change their color and texture on the fly. No thinking, no delay. One moment, smooth, pale marble. The next, bumpy, dark, coral-like camouflage, all in under a second. And here's the twist. The brain might not even be involved. It's not just intelligence, it's a living system of awareness in motion. In most animals, there's one heart and one brain. But for the octopus, this simple rule completely breaks down. This strange creature has 3 hearts. One main heart that pumps blood to the entire body, and 2 smaller ones dedicated to sending blood through the gills. Even stranger, its blood isn't red. Instead of hemoglobin, it uses hemocyanin, a copper-based molecule. That's why its blood is blue. And it works better than ours in cold, low-oxygen waters. But if the hearts are strange, the brains are even stranger. At first glance, the octopus seems to have just one brain, right behind its eyes. But that's only part of the story. Each of its 8 arms contains its own neural ganglion, essentially a mini brain. Each arm can touch, taste, make decisions, even respond without waiting for approval from the central brain. Altogether, the octopus has a kind of multi-centered intelligence, one brain. 8 semi-independent arm brains, 3 hearts, thousands of sensors on its skin and suckers. Like a fully equipped team, where each member can act on its own, without a single commander. And maybe that's why the octopus can do so many things at once. One arm opening a clam, another feeling around the rocks, a third ready to strike. And the strangest part? Even if one of its arms is cut off, it can still move on its own, as if it's still thinking. The octopus begins life completely alone. No parents, no guidance, no protection. From the moment it hatches, survival is up to itself. Soft-bodied, vulnerable. In a world full of predators, it must learn quickly to hide, to hunt, to adapt. And then, one day, it reaches maturity. And with that comes the one and only chance to reproduce. During mating season, the male approaches the female. Carefully, cautiously, because even a small mistake can be fatal. He carries a specialized arm called the hectocotylus, used to transfer sperm into the female's body, a delicate, silent process, and often the end of his life. In some species, the male dies immediately afterward. In others, the female may consume him, not out of violence, but driven by the deep, biological logic of nature. Now the female is alone, carrying thousands of eggs. She finds a safe place, beneath a rock, in a shadowed cave, and attaches her eggs, one by one, to the ceiling. From that moment on, she does not leave. No food, no movement, just constant care. She fans water over the eggs, keeps them clean and oxygenated for weeks or months. Until the first hatchlings emerge, tiny, drifting into the open sea. And when that moment comes, she dies, quietly, without pain or struggle, like a light fading beneath the ocean floor. This is the reproductive cycle of the octopus. Not love as we know it, but something no less mysterious, no less profound. A mind so unlike ours, and yet, somehow, strangely familiar. The octopus is not just a hunter. Sometimes it acts like an engineer. In the depths of the ocean, without a blueprint or a plan, it builds shelters, reshapes its surroundings, and even uses tools, something once believed to be exclusive to humans and primates. One of the most surprising discoveries, octopuses that collect half-shells of coconuts from the seafloor, carry them over long distances, and when threatened, use them like a shield or hide beneath them. This isn't just using an object, it's transporting a tool for future use. a behavior extremely rare in the animal kingdom. In its den, the octopus arranges shells, rocks, and sand with precision. Sometimes it seals the entrance with large stones, like locking a door. In some cases, it even gathers trash, bits of glass or metal debris, to strengthen or camouflage its home. But not everything is about defense. When it's time to hunt, its arms spring into action. It can squeeze through narrow crevices, change the color and texture of its skin in a fraction of a second, and sense movement in the water through its sensitive suckers. Sometimes it extends a few arms as decoys, distracting prey with the illusion of movement. Other times, it reshapes its entire body and waits in silent ambush. It chooses its prey carefully. If it's a clam, it waits patiently for the shell to slightly open, then injects a paralyzing venom into the muscle. If it's a crab, it attacks from behind, wrapping its arms with precision. In some cases, the octopus even adapts its strategy based on past experiences, changing its method when something didn't work the first time. All of this tells us something extraordinary. We're not just witnessing instinct, we're watching learning in real time. An alien intelligence crafting its life beneath the waves with creativity, memory, and choice. Keeping an octopus in an aquarium is never boring. It doesn't just sit still. It explores, it escapes, it surprises you. Sometimes it unscrews a jar lid. Sometimes it climbs out of the tank, crawls across the floor, and sneaks into the next tank to hunt the fish inside. Then it quietly returns to its own tank as if nothing happened. One of the most famous octopuses was named Inky. One night, he slipped through a tiny gap, climbed off the aquarium table, made his way to a drain pipe, and vanished into the sea. It wasn't a myth. The entire event was confirmed by the staff. But beyond the escapes and tricks, something else happens. Octopuses can sometimes connect with humans. They recognize their caretakers, they approach some people, and avoid others. In the documentary My Octopus Teacher, a man visits the same wild octopus every day, not in a tank, but in the open ocean. Over time, a strange connection forms. Not through touch, not through language, but through presence. Through curiosity, through a kind of mutual respect. Is it just a romantic fantasy? Or is there truly something in that gaze? Something that reflects back a part of ourselves? For years, scientists believed that only vertebrates, especially advanced mammals, were capable of emotional pain. But recent research has challenged that idea. In one study, a wounded octopus was treated and its behavior changed. It avoided the injured area, protected it, and when the pain eased, signs of calm behavior returned. This wasn't just pain, it was memory and response. In some cases, even gentle human touch caused stress, and this raised a deep biological question. If an octopus can learn pain, who are we to say it can't feel? As a result, countries like the UK and members of the EU have placed octopuses under ethical animal protection laws, the same as intelligent mammals. Because maybe, just maybe, there's a kind of awareness in this creature that we're only beginning to understand. At first glance, the octopus is just another sea creature. Slippery arms, fluid movements, a life in the dim shadows of coral reefs. But look closer, and you might notice something in its eyes. Something not human, but not completely alien either. It doesn't think with words or faces. It thinks with touch, with color, with movement. In a world where we've searched for mind only inside the brain, the octopus arrived and showed us consciousness might come in other shapes. A being from the depths that acts like a mirror to another kind of mind. A scattered, fluid, independent intelligence. Maybe even a different version of what we call being. If one day we're to connect with a non-human form of awareness, maybe we don't need to look to the skies. Maybe we just need to look into the water, at that quiet, intelligent gaze watching us from beyond the arms. And now it's your turn. What mystery do you want us to explore in the next episode? Let us know in the comments. Because this journey begins with you.